everyone to the meeting tonight. The IDA, I think we'll start off with a roll call. Let's see, Dennis Dean?
Here.
Marlene, I believe is excused. Bill Murphy?
Present.
Anton, present. Here.
I said present.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Paul?
Present.
Okay, and Wanda, I believe, is excused, so we do have a quorum. Okay, let's see, next on the agenda here, can we get a motion to approve the minutes last month?
I'll motion.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great, so moved. CFO report, Mark, welcome.
Thank you. I started,
Hey, Mark, hang on.
Okay.
Has everybody met Mark? Mark is the new controller for the Advanced Albany King Alliance, and he's filling in for Amy, who I think is at a
cheerleader.
cheerleader gathering somewhere down in with our daughter in Florida, I think it is.
Orlando, yep.
Sounds good.
All right, so I'm gonna go over the Q1 financial report. As noted in the statement of financial position, we have a strong cash position with cash and cash equivalents totaling about $4.34 million. Other assets are, we have some prepaid expenses of $11,000 and fixed assets of net of about $11,000 also. The agency had no liabilities on the balance sheet or the statement activity through Q1, and it's all in net position. Moving on to the budget to actuals, total revenue for Q1 was $35,650 compared to a budget of $112,500. The main drivers of revenue in Q1 were interest and earnings at $26,000, and we were just slightly under on fees due to just no projects closing in Q1 of 2025. On the expenditure side, expenditures were $76,600 versus a budget of $106,800. The primary drivers of the expenditures in Q1 were the management fee and auditing fees for BST. So with that, we had a deficit of $40,962 compared to a budgeted surplus of $5,600.
Great, thanks. Was there, just a quick question on the balance sheet. I think Amy indicated that you may be moving some monies from the money market into some other interest-bearing account, I think at our last meeting.
So there was a $3 million CD that was opened up with a maturity of July 9th, 2025. She with a earnings of 3.16%. In April, she did open up another CD for $500,000. And that had an interest rate of 3.5%.
Okay, yeah, she just moved money from the money market into another. Okay, great, perfect. Any questions for Mark or the financials? Can we get a motion to move on the financials? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, so moved. Okay, next, CEO report. Kevin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. Just general, we will be, we have been in discussion with Plug Power, because of the reduction in their job count. They did make the job numbers for their reporting period, which was the end of 2024. But, as you all know from recent press announcements, it's unlikely that they're going to do so for 2025. So they've been very good about this. They've reached out to us, and we will be following up with a meeting with them. And if any of you would like to attend that, I thought Mike would probably definitely be there, but if anybody else would like to attend that, we'll do that. There has been some communication. We did get we were copied on a letter that the business manager for the Bethlehem School District sent to Plug Power, asking them for some additional comments and context for the company's future, which we're at meeting with Plug Power, and they'll be responding to that accordingly. There doesn't appear to be on the face of it any impact on the school district. The pilot agreement is in place. Nothing's going to change on that. Plug is current on all their taxes, so but we'll keep an eye on that. We want to keep good relations. The other thing that I'd like to just make some brief comments on is Kevin Catalano and I attended the so-called IPF, which is basically stands for International Partnership Forum, but is really the major offshore wind conference. It was down in Virginia Beach this year. The conference had a very somber air to it. We were looking in Albany County-wide, we were looking at, with all of the interest we saw, over $2 billion of investment in the ports of Albany and Queens from various offshore wind manufacturers in towers and blades and turbines and undersea cabling. All of that has come to a screeching halt. The federal administration has, eliminated their support of offshore wind, and in a very highly unusual move, they actually revoked a permit of an offshore wind project already in progress, the so-called Empire Wind Project, which is off the coast of Long Island. You may have seen Governor Hochul and several other states have sued the federal government in regard to that, because the component manufacturers are not only in New York State, but in Rhode Island and Massachusetts and so on. So it was a bit of a somber occasion down there. I'd say it was almost like a wake, and not the good kind, like the Irish wakes. This was a very somber experience, but there has been, Kevin and I attended one of the most popular sessions down there was how to talk to Republican legislators about offshore wind. That was a standing room only crowd, and it was a very good session. It was a gentleman who's a former elected official who heads a conservative energy group, and kind of laid out a strategy for how this really might get back on track. And basically his argument was the demand for electricity is growing exponentially, and if we started building coal, gas, nuclear plants, they wouldn't be online, they wouldn't even be sited in the next 5 years, and wouldn't be up and running for another 10 years. Whereas offshore wind, with all of the shortcomings it has, the wind doesn't always blow, that can start producing electricity almost immediately. So we'll see what happens in that front, but that was a major component of the county's economic development strategy, the attraction of alternative energy manufacturers. So that's been dealt a little bit of a blow, we'll kind of think through what we do next. This was, a lot of this was down at the Port of Queens, and as those of you who've been on the board for some time know, Queens does all of their projects through the county IDA. And there's just some unknown and uncertainty, which, as we all know, investment capital abhors uncertainty, and so we'll see what happens. I think one conversation I had on a sidebar with a kind of a Washington insider was, given the amount of money that's been spent on this industry in the U.S., these are mostly Northern European developers, Equinor, Ørsted, guys who've done offshore wind in Europe for the last, 15, 20 years. These people have invested billions of dollars. Just as an example, the oceanic real estate off the coast of New York, which is known as the New York Bight, was auctioned off for about $4.3 billion. And this lobbyist made the observation that with that much money being spent on anything, that it's very likely that, given the transactional nature of the new administration in Washington, that something might come back on. But for right now, everything is on hold in the U.S., which is mostly the East Coast, where most of the offshore wind projects have been projected. So little bit of a downer there, but it might, the the best case is that's more of a postponement than a complete elimination of it, given the power needs. So, other than, our second, most attractive area of business is the semiconductor supply chain companies, and fortunately, we do have a project on our agenda today, which exemplifies that. We will never attract a semiconductor fabrication facility. We just don't have the sites for them. These are, the site that Micron just moved out to in Clay, New York, I think was something like a couple thousand acres. We just don't have that kind of space in the county. But what we do have is one of the world-class leading research institutions up on Fuller Road with the SUNY Nanotech Campus and the major semiconductor award they were given recently. They're one of about 3 of these sites around the world, and that in and of itself holds out some significant attraction for the semiconductor supply chain companies. From a national security standpoint, which is what kind of instigated this whole thing. It doesn't matter if you make semiconductor chips here, if you don't have the supply chain domestically here, they're worthless, right? Because you can't, they just make chips, you have to package them, and by packaging, I don't mean, shrink wrapping them. It's how and which chips you put on a wafer and for what purpose. So the design companies, some of the materials companies, which Cadmir represents, is a real opportunity. And this is really one of the first semiconductor supply chain companies that the IDA has dealt with, but we expect this to be an area that will be pretty fertile ground for the county moving forward. So if there are any other questions of me, I turn it over to Chris and Kevin to walk through the project. And we do have a representative with us today representing Cadmer, Carl Kemp, who's attorney representing company. I don't know, Carl, is anybody else going to be joining us online? Or
No, just me.
Just you. Okay.
Yep, just me.
Welcome, thank you.
So
Thank you.
with that, I'll turn it over to Chris.
Do you want to let them know what they'll be voting on with the resolution
Yeah,
afterwards? And then I'll go through what the project is?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So just the resolution for is a standard public hearing resolution related to the project. Since the project applicant's asking for financial assistance in excess of $100,000, required under the general municipal law to hold a public hearing. So this resolution would authorize holding said public hearing. It doesn't authorize or signify an approval of the project overall. It's just the first step in the process.
Great.
Thanks, Chris. So the project is Kedemir, the contact person, then the 100% owners, a gentleman by the name of Barry Arkles. I've been doing some research on Barry. He was just inducted into the National Association of Engineers, which there's only like 2,600 throughout the whole world, majority of them in America. And the article that talks about him being nominated and inducted, the companies that he started, and he started 2, and both were very successful, generate over $1 billion a year in revenue currently. He's got 150 published articles on this type of chemical, silicone. It's silicone with carbon and metal with carbon. And he has in excess of 75 patents to his name currently. So this is the type of guy we want here. And what his goal is the building at British American Boulevard currently has Emerson, Siemens, Plug is there, but they're moving that space out into Vista and some other small companies. Accumetrics. Thank you, Kevin. And the idea is to get them all to work together. They're all kind of into an ancillary kind of design and project that will fit into the semiconductor realm. And what their main kind of thing is they take like a piece of silicone and they etch it, and then they fill it with copper, and then they buff it. And what that creates is conductivity at like its complete best. It's really interesting. It's actually changing the process of manufacturing these semiconductors. And if this takes off, this could be huge. So they bought a $73,000 square foot building. There is a floor plan. The listing is in the back of the packet. They paid 4.8. It was listed for 6. It does need a new roof. It does need some HVAC. And as they build out the insides, they're going to actually build a small manufacturing spot in there. So some of the tenants are going to change. They're going to add better HVAC. They're going to keep everybody happy. Currently in that building, they have 110 employees. Average salary of those 110 employees is about $100,000. With Barry coming in, they think the salaries are going to start in the mid 60s and go up into the mid 350, 330, into that range, with an average salary of about $150,000 per employee. And they expect to have 125 additional employees over the next 3 to 5 years. And these are engineers. These are going to be the smartest people in the world. I mean, he attracts very, very smart people to work for his companies. So what Kevin and we've met with Barry several times. Antoinette and I worked with his, business manager, Doug, on this application, asked a lot of questions. This could be a really incredible opportunity for Albany County to get, because not only are they going to try to develop chemicals here, but they also think they might start trying to import chemicals needed for the supply chain. So the combination of creating and bringing more in to work with global foundries, this is a terrific opportunity.
Great update.
Very, and I just wanted to say one thing. We did get an updated application today. There's a few revisions to the application, but the main one is to page 4, which is the estimated value of the tax exemptions. So I'm going to pass that around. There's that on page 4 of the application. And it's under the table estimated value of tax exemptions.
Oh, okay. 4 of the application.
Page 4 of the application. Sorry, folks. Yep.
Page 15 of the packet.
Right, 15 of the packet.
So what did they increase it or decrease it? Yeah, so
the value of the sales tax exemption
okay.
went up.
Yep.
The mortgage tax exemption was filled out, and the real property tax exemption amount, which is an estimate. Remember, we implemented the UTEP last year, so there's a fixed assessed value that we go back and forth on. That is estimated $220,000.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I'm going to want to double check with Doug and Barry on the mortgage recording tax, because when I last spoke with Doug, Barry was able to access the funds without having to have a mortgage. And when they purchase the building, they don't expect to have a mortgage. Is that the case? So that 10,000 may be an overestimate. And what we came up with on the savings, if you go to the last page that was the annual pilot exemption, Antoinette did an excellent job working off the new UTEP policy of the percent of exemption. And we have estimated a $223,000 savings to Catamair, sorry. And they'll be paying an additional $246,000. If the building just stayed the same, this increase would be $246,000, almost $247,000 additional over the next 15 years. And that is part of, over the next 15 years, they'll be paying $1,933,000 in property taxes to school, county, and the town of Colony. So a little savings, but the taxing organizations will be earning more than Catamair is saving. The taxes will go up $246,884 over the next 15 years. So you do have a chart in each of your packets.
Thanks for the additional color.
Would you like to ask if?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, Kevin and Kevin did a really super job of summarizing the project. It is a tremendous opportunity, and, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has about the project.
Right, right. So the idea is to come on and bring some equipment in and then sort of lease it out to some of the other tenants to sort of work on your cutting edge technology? Is that sort of what the game plan is?
The intent is our people will be, operating the equipment and tools, and, the intent is to develop programs with on-site people as well as possibly, and including off-site people to come in and use the equipment. But, primarily our people will be operating the equipment in partnership with people on-site and off-site.
The kind of unique attribute of this project here is that the other companies in this building, which is 6 British American Boulevard, are all involved in various aspects of supporting the semiconductor manufacturing process. So, Dr. Arkles and Katimer, are gonna kind of work on putting this consortium of these 4 or 5 companies together. And there is, I'm not sure, Carl, I don't want to get out ahead of it, there is a possible connection or partnership with a German materials company. And there may be, additional phases of this project going forward as Dr. Arkles has informed us of.
So this sits in the town of Colony. Is there
Right.
a reason why this didn't go to the Colony IDA versus coming to the county IDA? Did we
No.
sort of solicit, or how did that sort of work?
We've been working with the company for probably
Year and a half.
close to a year and a half now.
Okay.
And we've showed them several sites around the county. I won't mention exactly what ones, but some of which you would know. And we have, this is just one component of the incentives that we're going to provide to the company. And when, the lead is ours, we always work with the host IDA, and, we do the deal, and we do the fee sharing agreement that we.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Sort of see how that's nice company, it's,
Yeah.
when I first read it and I see no mortgage tax, I'm like, it's a well-capitalized company too, right? So,
Barry has had very successful projects.
Yeah, good.
So yes, it's, a lot of effort, a lot of financial behind, the company to get it off the ground, and it's a great opportunity for Albany County, tremendous.
Good, thanks.
It does also sound from the description that there seems to be maybe potential for expansion down the road, and that this could be just the
Yeah.
beginning.
Well, and Mike, kind of you asked about the town of Colony. Barry wanted to stay in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
We're like, no, Barry, you gotta come up where the college is. The college is right here. What do you got Global Foundries right there. So Kevin, along with the help of, the people we report up to, were able to put
Yeah,
together.
it's great.
So this was a competitive, this wasn't just a turnkey, here, we got a building over here for you.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention, the county executive was actively involved in these negotiations, had meetings with the management here. And as I mentioned before, we will be including some other incentives from some of the other programs that we manage, not the least of which being, which Dennis is familiar with, the so-called STAGE program. So, this is a great, team effort here, led by the county executive, and we're really got great hopes for Catamir and their future growth and development.
Sure.
And it's right smack in the sweet spot for our strategy, and, this is a nice project.
Any other questions? Okay, can we get a motion to move forward with the public hearing? We get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? So moved. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll be scheduling our hearing sometime, over the next couple of weeks, and we'll let everybody know when it is.
Very good. Just looking here, we don't really have any other items on the agenda. Anyone want to talk about anything? Any news, any concerns? Okay, great. Well, then can I get a motion then to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
All in second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, everyone.
Nice.